Let's get into this new HTVRONT Auto Press 2 that they sent me, you guys. Stay tuned because it is definitely worth it. So HTVRONT sent this to me to test and review. And before you guys say anything, because I already know, as soon as you hear I received, you think it's going to be hyped just because it was free. But let me show you some receipts. I have been rocking with HTVRONT for a long time. Since I initially started this crafting game, I have been purchasing with my own dimes, with my own coins, their products for a long time. So this is the first time they have sent me something to review. So it's not going to be just because they sent it to me. I have loved this brand for a long time. So let me show you something really quick. So this is where my original clamshell was sitting, and you see the scuffs and the marks that it did to my wall because of the manual pressure settings and having to lift and crank the clamshell back open due to the high pressure settings, compared to where my HTVRONT Auto Press originally sat, the original one sat. Look, there's no marks, nothing. So when they sent it to me, I was so excited to try this out because now that we can adjust the pressure settings, I can now go ahead and basically use the same amount of pressure without all the stress of having to release it because of that pressure, if that makes sense. So I'm reading over the instructions right now. And what I wanted to point out first is look at the clearance space between the new one and the original one, or the Auto Press 2 versus the original. There is so much more clearance space, you guys. And this is perfect if you do hoodies, sweaters. We're going into the cold and the fall and winter season. So this is perfect. Plus it extends out further as well. And I'll show you a more in-depth look at that. As you can see right here, you can see the clearance. The new one extends much further out, which allows you to kind of place your garments, especially thicker materials, and be able to see. So let me test it with this hoodie, because that was one of the things when, again, if you guys were here in the game when it first came out, where a lot of people were asking about was pressing hoodies. And again, I really didn't have too much pressure with the problems with the original one compared to like my clamshell. It could have more spacing, but as you can see right here with my hands, I'm just kind of feeling around the clearance space. There is so much more clearance. So if you guys had an issue with hoodies and pressing with the original, you're going to love this. And some of the settings are pretty much the same, but I wanted to go ahead and show you that right here you see it comes with the little sticker that you can remove, but it tells you what the actual buttons mean, and they also have it in the guide. But right here you can adjust the pressure settings. It now goes up to 170 pounds of pressure, and they listen to us. That was something that we complained about religiously for a long time. And another thing I wanted to point out is there are now 4 different presets. So instead of the 2 that was on the original, you can customize 4 different presets. For instance, right here, I'm going to go ahead and change the temperature on this one. Say for instance, if I'm pressing puff vinyl, and I usually press it about 285, but always make sure you're following it to the manufacturer's specifications. But I'm going to change it to 10 since it's still in increments of 5, but I don't press it that long. But I am going to increase the pressure settings, especially for puff. And then the second one, for instance, and you see that it's saved right there. This second one, I'm going to program it as if I was pressing a DTF transfer. So I'm going to go ahead and crank it up to about 315. You can go higher or lower. And then I'm going to change the seconds or the time on there to 15 seconds and increase that pressure as well. And that will then become a customized setting. And this I'm going to show you how it presses, and it takes like a couple seconds before it releases down in the auto function. So I feel like it's a little bit of a delay compared to the other original one, but it doesn't bother me at all. But I wanted to point out that this is initial impression. So I'm going to be working with this completely for the next like 30 days and come up with a second follow-up. But if you are interested in purchasing this, click the link in my bio. It is under pre-sale right now, and you can use Ebony60 for $60 off. It's going to take it from $349 to $289 with my code. So if you're interested in the news auto press, go ahead, click the link in the description box. See you in the next video.